Hey everybody, welcome to Always Bored, Never Boring, and the third turn of my playthrough of the Better Angels scenario for The Walking Dead No Sanctuary. I've had a quick break to take stock of the situation and to reconsider some of my previous blunders. I definitely made a tactical error in the first round of the game, picking up some additional stress that I really didn't need, and things have kind of gone a little bit pear-shaped since then. But we're ready to go into turn 3. Just to reiterate, this game that I'm playing is the official solo variant of a 2-player person v person game from a game that is generally meant to be played with 1 to 4 players playing cooperatively. So this is slightly different to the usual gameplay that you get with this game. And I don't think I ever mentioned this in the earlier playthroughs. Earlier rounds of this playthrough, but the deck that I'm using for Rick is actually a special Better Angels deck. So while I'm playing through this, if you have this game at home and you're looking at your deck of Rick cards and wondering why you don't have cards called Way Out of My Way or whatever, it's because this is a special deck that you use just for this scenario. It's not used in any other scenario, and there are actually other decks of cards for other scenarios that are similar in that you don't use them in general play. I should also point out as well that I have changed my microphone. I'm hoping that we will get a better sound quality on this third turn, but I have gabbled for far too long, and it is time to go into the phase now where we draw 2 event cards and find out how badly the game is going to beat me up. So, we have got a red card, Distraction, and we have a green card, Mad Dash. So, Distraction, Better Angels, active. During activation, a survivor may choose a space adjacent to him or her. Each walker adjacent to that space moves into that space. Okay. Neglect effect, each walker adjacent to a survivor moves into that survivor's space. Well, I've got 2 walkers that are adjacent to me. So if I neglect this card, I have to immediately perform that neglect effect, and those walkers will come and say hi, and that's usually never a good thing. Mad Dash, the active event is, during activation, a survivor may discard 1 focus to move 1 space, ignoring enemies. Okie dokie. And the neglect effect is, move each walker 1 space towards the nearest survivor. Oh, good. So I can neglect this card and the 2 zombies will come and eat me, or I can neglect this card and the 2 zombies will come and eat me. That's nice. Right, well, my current hand consists of orange and green. And as we know, it's a good idea to try and play something that's compliant, because I'm already on 3 stress, and that's the maximum amount of stress you can have at any one time. If I pick up any additional stress at this point, then I start actually exerting instead, which means I start discarding cards from my hand, or either from my hand or from my deck, I should say. And I've mentioned before, your cards are your hit points in this game, so if you can't discard a card, you die. I don't want to die, so I'm going to discard the red card and we'll keep Mad Dash. Right. Each walker adjacent to a survivor moves into that survivor's space. Brains. Yeah. So they've come to say hi again. That's not good. That will cause problems for me when I try and leave that space, which I really want to do. What am I going to play? We have got... Okay, well, I want to play one of these green cards. The 2 yellow cards are better to sort of wait until I can be compliant with those. Sorry, me humming probably isn't the most entertaining. Yeah, okie dokie. That's quite useful, actually. This will gain me a focus. and I can use a focus on this event. This is one of the things that I have an issue with this game. Not an issue, but it's one of the things that I find it prevents the game from running as smoothly as I would like. In that I'm looking at these cards, and I'm thinking what I want to do for my turn. I'm trying to figure out whether I'm compliant with this effect. I'm also trying to figure out if what I can do here will allow me to do this active event here, and I'm also I'm looking up here, which is a combat thing, but this is an interact. It's just there's a lot of sort of checking and cross-referencing across different cards, which isn't something I'm overly fond of. I like to have all of my information in one spot. Yeah, it's kind of a bit like well, actually it's not at all anything like it, but it sort of sprang into my head, so I'm going to say it anyway, and that's HeroClix games, where you've got some information on cards in front of you and some information on the base, on the miniatures. I find that I don't like that. I like all my information in one spot so I can easily make my decisions. I'm gabbling again, aren't I? It's because I don't know what I want to do. I'm going to use this card. I'm going to play this to gain one focus. Well, I will gain one focus if I do the interact action. But at the moment, the important thing is that it is compliant. So that is a good thing, I think. Right. So now I have a choice. I've got one maneuver and one action. I'm going to want to do the interact action to gain a focus. So that is what I will do. So I perform that action. I immediately gain a focus token. Focus token. In the previous episode, I got confused between trust tokens and focus tokens. Focus tokens have an I. I see you. So I've got a focus token. So I get that for free just for selecting to do the action. But now I have to do the dice rolling-y bit. So I am rolling on my interact. So what is my interact? I roll one dice for interact. That is rubbish. You would think Rick Grimes would be a bit better in the old interaction stakes. I suppose he's too busy giving everybody a slightly creepy middle distance stare to interact properly like a human being. So I'm rolling one dice for interactions, but this is where it gets really bad, because I have 3 stress, which means I have to roll an extra 3 black dice, but also there's zombies on my space, which means I have to roll another black dice. So that is the maximum number of black dice versus the minimum number of white dice. Hooray for me! I'm going to roll them in my brand new dice cup. What have I got? Look, I got a success! Mom, I'm a winner! I got a success, and I got 2 threat. Threat is probably the best thing I could have hoped for there, because if you roll these skull and crossbones, you have to refer to the card that you've played to see what happens. And in this case, the skull would have moved each walker within range 1 into my space. Well, actually, that would have been good, because there are no walkers within range 1 that aren't already in my space. Oh, okay. So I'll take that back. Normally, I'll show you a different card as a better example. This is a better example. If I'd have played this card, every time I roll a skull and crossbones, I would have suffered the stress. Because I'm already at maximum stress, I would have started exerting instead. So, when you're rolling 4 black dice, potential to roll 4 skull and crossbones, potential to lose 4 hit points in one go. So yeah, the threat, all that's doing is that gets added to a little threat token, which is just off camera, where you can't see it. But that will actually generate more zombies. As the threat track advances, it dictates how many new zombies will spawn at the end of the round. But anyway, I've rolled a success, which means I get to look at this card and I get to apply one of these results. I can gain 1 ammo, or if Shane is in my space, I can make him exert. He's not in my space. There's Shane, there's me. But I will gain ammo. Ammo is cool. We like ammo. Ammo will allow me to do stuff. Stuff and things. I'm just off camera rummaging in a baggie. Here's an ammo token. Look, it says ammo on the back. That goes onto a spot, and basically, for maneuver action, you can use any resources you've got. Resources of food, ammunition, or material. And if you use a maneuver to use ammunition, you discard one ammunition token. You raise the threat level by 1 because you're making lots of noise, and then you can defeat one walker within line of sight. So I could potentially, I could just straight up defeat one of these zombos. The problem with that is there are 2 zombies. And I don't want to have to deal with the other one. So, this card says during activation, a survivor may discard 1 focus to move 1 space, ignoring enemies. That is what I'm going to do. I played this green card so that I could gain this focus token. This focus token will allow me to move 1 space. I'm going to... Where am I going to go? Oh, the horror. I'm going to... Oh, what do I want to do? I'm going to go up. And then I get to make a maneuver. So I discard my focus token. So that was easy come, or not so easy come, very easy go. And now I can either move, I can hide, I can focus, or I can use a resource. The problem is there are zombies right there. They're right in my grill. I kind of need to get away from the zombies a bit. I would like to hide, because if I hide, I reduce the threat level by 1, which means less zombies turn up. And also, if there's no enemies in my space, then I can just discard a stress. The problem is that next turn, zombies are immediately going to start ploughing into me again. Because they're everywhere. Blooming everywhere. But is it worth it to reduce the threat by 1 and to reduce my stress? I have a lot of stress. I have anxiety issues. I don't know. No. I'm just going to move. I'm just going to move for now. I don't know. I feel like there's about 6 things I need to do, and I have the option to do one of them. So I'm going to move an additional 2 spaces here. This will prevent me from getting munched on by any zombies this turn. But I really need to do something to get my stress level down, or to actually do some healing, or, anything really. I just need to do anything. Because I'm in a bit of bother really. But anyway, that's the end of my my activation, and now Shane's going to do his thing. Now, because I used a green approach, a normal, safe approach, and he doesn't have his shotgun because he hasn't been looking for his shotgun. He's going to basically try and find his shotgun. That's what he's going to do this turn. So he moves 4 spaces towards the nearest search card. The nearest search card is actually this one up here. So he can only move orthogonally, so he goes 1, 2, 3, and now I've got to move in 4th space, and I can choose. As far as I'm concerned, it doesn't say he will avoid zombies. It doesn't say anything about whether he gives 2 hoots about zombies. So I'm going to move him. Let me just adjust this camera so you can see what's going on up here. I'm going to move him into the space with the zombie, because I don't think it says in the rules that you can, and I want to, because I want him to get eaten by zombies, because he's Shane and he's not very nice. So I'm just my camera's all over the place today. So there you go. So that's what he does. He didn't get to a search card, so he's not going to do anything about that right now. And then we resolve the events. I did achieve this activation. I discarded the focus token to move 1 space, so I don't have to suffer any stress. So that resolves that particular little dilemma. And then all the zombos are going to move. So we start with reanimating any corpses, and there aren't any, and then we do walker activations, and we start with walkers that are in a space with a survivor of some kind. Here is Shane, the rival. He is in a space with one walker. So, what does he have to do? Basically, he has to have a fight. Rivals in a space with zombies, they get to basically defeat one zombie. So just for free, he will defeat that zombie. Now, if there were any other zombies left, then they would start munching on him, and then he would be in trouble. But in this particular case, Shane has just been Shane, and he's just walked up to a zombie, and he's cracked it with probably his bare hands, and he's taken that zombie out. So he's very happy about that. So the next thing that happened will be the swarming, and swarming is when zombies are adjacent to a survivor or a rival or a human character of some description. There is only one zombie for which swarming is applicable, and that's this lovely lady here. So she moves into the space with Shane, and then all the other zombies just move one space closer, and if they have a choice of directions, they will be moving up or down, because the most recent map card on the top of the stack prioritizes movement up and down. So these guys move up. There's two of those there. These guys, they're 1, 2, 1, 2. They've got a choice, so they're going to move up. These guys over here will move along. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3. They'll move up, move up. So that's all of the zombies moved. After that, we have to do the threat step. Threat is on 2, which means we're going to spawn 2 new regular zombies. We do that by drawing a map card, and the first zombie will appear in space C9, down at the bottom. And the second zombie will appear up on B1. Again, that's a little bit too close for comfort, really. There's quite a lot of zombies happening here. And then the threat track will reset to 0. So the good thing about the threat track is it isn't cumulative over time. It resets at the end of each round. So, you know, you might have one really bad round where loads and loads of zombies turn up, but then if you're clever in the next couple of rounds, you might not bring any new zombies on at all. Anyway, I still clearly have not achieved my objective. So that is the end of the round, and we go on to the next round where we do the whole same thing over again.